Hey, Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project. It's Black Friday today. This is the Q&A session, and we're going to get rolling in like a second here. I do have a nice cold beverage. I'll show you in just one moment here. We got Jonathan on, which is awesome. And let's see, give me a shout. Whoever is on, just let me know. Say hello. Let me know where you're from. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Jonathan. Appreciate you hopping on today. So that's really cool. And it is, let's see, there's a lot of windows up. I'm trying to clear up my windows. So could be a light crowd today. I'm doing this much later in the day than I normally do, purely out of convenience for myself. Which, if you make your own schedule, you may as well make it convenient for yourself. We got Dennis on. What's up? Facilitate Colorado. What's up? How's it going? Emil, a lot of the normal crew here. Welcome. I got my other light here, so maybe this will help a little bit. Okay, we got to make sure this baby's balanced here. Gets real. Okay, let's see. Is that like too weirdly bright? No, that's all right. Be cool if it was a little higher. There's a lot of, this will work though. This works. Nick is on too. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Good to see you on here. David's on as well. What's up? And Smooth Operator in LA. Very awesome. It is, I'm in Bozeman, Montana. It's unseasonably warm today. It's like maybe in the mid 40s, but it's very sunny, beautiful blue skies. I can see the mountains over there. And I was wearing shorts earlier to go to the gym. Florian's on. Gary's on. Mate is on as well. So here's the deal. I'm going to answer questions today. You could just put like a pound Q to help me see them. There's a gentleman, Ronan, who couldn't make it today, and he sent me questions ahead of time. I don't normally encourage that sort of thing, but it just happened. That'll help me get started, actually. So I'm going to answer his questions right here, and I will share. I'll show you the beverage that I'm drinking right here. While it is earlier in the day, it's 3 o'clock here right now. I did go to the gym, and it's kind of a holiday-ish, so I'm enjoying a beer. So cheers, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. If not, happy Friday. This is a Rogue Dead Guy Ale. One of my favorites. I don't drink it super often, but for many years, I've been a fan of Rogue, and they do great beers. Been to many of their tap houses, and yeah, that's what I'm drinking through this Q&A. Normally, I let these go on for a pretty long time. We're gonna cap it at the top of the hour, right? So at the latest, we're gonna go for 55 minutes more from right now, because I'm gonna go on a walk with my wife. So, all right. Question number 1 from my man Ronan. What would you choose between several EMD, that's exact match domain, niche sites, and one brandable authority site? I would do one brandable authority site. That's just, it's easier to manage one site than several sites, no matter what. There's overhead for each site, and just in general, go for one. The authority site with a brandable domain, that's better. Next, do I have a template for a best of quote type post? Number of words, images, calls to action, links, sort of. If you go to, if you Google the perfect Amazon review template, you'll see my image, and that is the baseline template that you can use for reviews of a single product, multiple products. It's 100% modular. Ronan, in fact, if you go to YouTube and you Google like perfect Amazon review, you should see several live stream trainings that I did where I go like in depth and talk through all the little details. I encourage you to check that out. Last question from Ronan. Actually, there's a few more from Ronan, but folks in the chat, please do just keep doing the pound Q. I see Polina, Adrian is on as well. We have Lorraine and several other questions. So awesome. Just keep them coming, and I'll come to them rapid fire stop. Third question from Ronan is, aside from best of post, do I do KGR for what product type to choose or other keywords? Yeah, I do KGR for everything. I don't always use KGR, right? There's a ton of keywords out there, but if I'm doing KGR stuff, if the keyword makes sense, I do it, right? If the content makes sense for the site, I'll go ahead and take advantage of the fact that no one else is trying to target it. By the way, those are great to go for, especially if they're not product specific, they're not buyers keywords. That's cool to do at the right time, and I do that. Another question. This is sort of an aside from Run. Can I give you the link of the site that I sold for 235K? No, sorry, I can't do that for a number of reasons. Just professional courtesy. I wouldn't do that anyway. But additionally, like the way that we sold the site, like it would be really poor judgment on my part to out that site. So nope, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And further, I'll just mention the comment. He says, Ronan says, the keyword golden ratio seems to work. It does work, but his phrasing is it seems to work. You've tried to do Black Friday keywords and it's time consuming, blah, blah, blah. Yep. Shit takes a long time. So thanks, Ronan, for sending in the questions. Perfect timing. And that's, appreciate you sending them in. Go check out some of the live trainings out there. Okay. Lots of questions blowing through here. So let's see what we have going on. All right, first one I'm going to get to is from Dennis. Have I tried the Rogue Beard beer? No, I haven't. I've heard of it, but for the people that don't know, the head brewer has like a big beard. He's a hairy guy. Has a big beard, and they got wild yeast and grew it up and then fermented a beer. But I haven't tried it. I'm sure it probably tastes fine. Have you tried it, Dennis, by the way? All right. And then Polina says you have a new site, but you'd like to get some traffic to your site today. What, in your opinion, is the best way to get traffic to my site? All right. I don't know. If you are trying to get traffic today and you're asking, it's too late. It's already too late. So I'm doing a test. I'll briefly introduce what I'm doing, what I did in the last 24 hours. But at this point, if you're asking how to do it, you're not going to be able to do it. But I can tell you the answer to the question. You can run ads. You can run ads to your site, and it'll be expensive. You probably won't make any money, and it'll be a waste of time. But I always do try to answer the literal question that you're asking. I don't think it's going to be a good idea. What I did is I have an email list, and I sent an email for things that I thought were interesting, and I directed them over to my site. I sent a link to a blog post, and then I let people check it out. And I used my skills of copywriting, which I tried the same thing last year, and it kind of flopped. This year, I know that at least there's going to be a little bit of an ROI. Like when I checked earlier today, it was sort of hard to tell, but in a week or so, I'll share my results. In fact, I'll probably do a blog post on it and a video, but I sent an email out and I know that I've already made sales from it. It took me like 15 minutes. So it's not, I mean, even if I only made like 20 bucks, like, I learned something along the way and I got to do some copywriting, which is, I enjoy that stuff at this point. All right. Lorraine says, some of my keyword golden ratio keywords are stuck at the top of page 2. You tried to beef up the content. Other than backlinks, is there a way to climb to the first page? I would recommend to get backlinks. So I know a couple people, some of which are on this call right now on this live session. They have like gone and done blog commenting and they were able to rank a term, which is, I see there's a question about the LMS, the local monthly searches for the keyword golden ratio. They've actually ranked it with no other links than blog comments. And it was over the 250 threshold, which I've set. So I'll come to that in a second, Handy Strong, by the way. But Lorraine, I would just say, get some backlinks. Like go spend the time, do the work, get the backlinks. At some point, You may have to get backlinks. If you're patient, right, you can if you're patient, probably if you just wait, it'll move up. The other thing you can do, so here's something you can do if you don't want to do any backlinks. There's no guarantee that it's going to work, but it won't hurt anything. You can write content sort of related to the post that you're trying to rank. Doesn't have to be exactly on topic, but just something related. Say, publish 5 posts that are within the product area or something very close to it, and then from each of those 5 posts, link to the post in which you're trying to rank. The obvious point here is it may just be less work to go and get the links, right? So just go get the links. That's probably a better move. Candy Strong says, does the keyword golden ratio local monthly searches have to be less than 250? Yeah, you should do that for less than 250. You found some that they're like 320, but it only has 22 results. Here's the deal. Stick with the 250 when you're starting out. If you want to experiment, right? If you want to experiment, Nick's a good example. He's had good results up to 400. I've had good results up to like 1500. But there's many variables involved, and you have to understand like what's going on. So the reality is, when I provide a formula, I have to make it foolproof for people so that if they apply it to different situations, so the stats that I give are very conservative. If you want to step it up, you definitely can, but the results are going to be a little more unpredictable. You're not going to know, like, I guess, exactly how effective it is, if that makes sense. So it's one of those deals. It's going to be less reliable. That's the word I'm looking for. It's going to be less reliable, but and maybe take a little bit longer to rank. So give it a shot, Handy. Stick to under 250 if you can, and go from there. All right, next question from Handy. How much content should you put on a site set aside from money pages? 50%. A good rule of thumb is 50%. Let's see here. Oh, I lost my spot here. We got a lot of questions coming through here. Nice. Okay, I found it. Lorraine says, I'd like to add more internal links in order to boost the rankings. How do you suggest doing so? And how do you decide what the anchor text should be? Okay, I think luckily you're on the right track. I answered the question already. How do you decide what the anchor text should be? Usually just long phrases that are keyword rich. Super simple. David says, any tips on outsourcing white hat SEO? Blog commenting and outreach is painful, but sellers from Fiverr and Black Hat World scare me. They probably do a bad job. Here's the other thing. Recently, someone contacted me, and they were going to do a white hat outreach service or guest posting service. They didn't say white hat outreach. They said guest posting service, and they wanted me to try it out. So I was like, sure. Here's the stuff. Here's the site that I want linked, and here's the page and all that. And I wasn't happy with the results. This is a high-end like service provider. I wasn't happy with the results, and I told them straight up. I was like, if I paid for this, I would actually be disappointed. The point being, white hat outreach is difficult to do, as far as like if you're going to hire an SEO to do it. My tip for you, David, is to hire an admin, hire an executive assistant or someone to do just like administrative work from Upwork. Do not hire anyone who says they know SEO. Most people don't know what they're talking about. Okay. So most people don't know what they're talking about. And I'll just say it one more time. Most people, like, you don't know where they were educated, or if they were studying, or if they are studying like techniques from like 2014. So if you hire someone, you really can't trust them if they say they know SEO. However, if you hire someone who doesn't know anything about SEO, well, you could just teach them. You could actually just send them to my videos here on YouTube. You'll be good to go in a lot of ways. And I know David, like if you provide them the template in Five Figure Niche Site and you just sort of walk them through it, it's pretty straightforward. Go blog, comment for a couple weeks, start emailing people, and then you may have to help them like getting the content. You may have to like have the content written, the guest post written, but all the super boring part of the blog commenting and emailing people, you can outsource. You just need someone that can follow directions and communicate well. That's it. I paid people about $10 an hour on that Project Go White Hat situation. Okay. We got Blue Fuse. Other Doug is on. That's nice. And good to see you, Jeff. Good to see you too, buddy. Okay. And then Al Wayne Gray. You taught backlinks were necessary, but it's not. You wrote 40 posts and you have 70,000 page views per month and you never do backlinking. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. How long actually that is a great data point. Generally, if people tell me they're not able to get something to rank, they probably need like links. So Al, your point is valid. Some people are impatient. It sounds like you're a patient dude. So that could be like you can't have both, right? If you want speed, you're gonna have to pay for it somehow, and that could be through backlinks. All right, Handy Strong says, is all content on niche site just money pages? No, you should have other content. Smooth Operator says, let's say I have a site. By the way, thanks everyone for putting Q in there. That is quite helpful. Smooth Operator says, I have a site with 10 big articles and you're stuck. You're not sure if you're going in the right direction. Can you message me for a free tip? Smooth Operator, your opportunity is now. I don't do free tips. This is the time for the free tips. Probably here's your free tip without knowing any other information. You probably need more backlinks. That's probably it. Additionally, you may want to make sure your keyword research is tight. Assuming that's tight, you need backlinks. And then Smooth Operator, I do private consulting, but only, I'm pretty selective with who I work with. So if it's a good fit and I can actually help you, I may be able to give you a paid tip, but not a free tip. Handy Strong says, do I put the whole keyword in the URL? Yeah, usually so. Patricia, what's up? What about AdWords paid traffic targeting to transitional keywords? Sure, whatever you want to try. I don't do that. I think making that work for an Amazon affiliate site is going to be really tough because they don't pay a high enough commission. But that is a valid way. Like if you're just talking about getting paid traffic to your site and you're ignoring the financial portion, which you shouldn't do. You should make sure you're getting an ROI on this stuff. But if you just want to get traffic to your site, you could pay money for that. Yeah. Alrighty, next. Bluefuse says, is it important to have your article title match the KGR exactly? It should be pretty darn close. It should make sense, so it's all right to add other words in there. That is totally fine. Marcus says, what is the minimum number of KGR keywords necessary to start working on a new site? 8. So in my course, 5 Figure Niche Site, I recommend 10 posts to launch a site, 8 of which, give or take, right? 8 of which are KGR terms, keyword golden ratio terms. It's way fewer than what other people teach because I'm doing like agile project management ideas from my actual real corporate experience. So I'm blending a couple things together that, if many other people say you need to publish like 50, 100, 150 articles, and I've seen people like try and do this, you're not going to get any results quickly, and you're probably going to quit before you make any money. Um, your friends and family think you're insane for working on something. You're not making any money, but you know you can. So that's why we do 10, and then we start promoting it immediately. Diedrich says, do you sometimes give up on certain keywords when they don't rank? Yes, I do. Jonathan says, what's the average percentage of cold organic traffic you convert to sales on your site? Let me think for a second. I want to say it's like 2%, something like that. It's like 1 to 2%. Lorraine says, and that's just like ballpark. So, but it's in that range, I think. Lorraine says, a few of your KGR terms don't rank in the first 100, even when all in title is super low. Does it make sense? Yeah, there's a variety of factors. There's like way more variables in play than you would expect. A lot of it has to do with the competition. Additionally, like if you happen to, there are some keyword golden ratio terms which fit the formula, right? They meet all the criteria. However, it's like an e-commerce term, and it's like only e-commerce. It's like Home Depot, Walmart, Amazon, like REI, like they dominate and they fill up the top 10. If that's the case, then that's one that's probably never going to rank for you. All right. JP says this is in reference to the amount of content that is affiliate content versus informational content on a niche site. I say only, he says only 50%. I hear 20 to 30% to 70 to 80%, like is the ratio. Sure, that's even better. Turns out almost everything doesn't matter that much. It's like when you put everything together, if you're like 50% right on everything, that's all you need to be. You don't have to be 100% right. I do 50-50. I know dozens of people that do 50-50. I know people that do 70-30, where it's like 70% affiliate content or 90% affiliate content, and they do fine too. For me, 50-50 is a good ratio, JP. And I think you should test what you're comfortable, or you should test and see what happens. But whatever you're comfortable with is what you should do. I'm just one guy and I'm telling you what I do. All right. We got other Doug here for hiring and writing. Hey, don't those other guys, the income school guys, don't they answer your questions? Just giving you a hard time, Doug. Okay. What's a decent price for 1,000 words? 14 or 15 bucks. David says, you didn't even think about the answer that I gave before. You already have writers for content. That's what you were looking for. So, oh yeah. So the thing is, David, you can all, like, my best outreach people were writers. And I was like, hey, do you want to do something different? Do you want a little break? And I'll pay you by the hour. And I pay them 10 bucks an hour. It's kind of fun. It's new. They learn something. You'll learn something too when working with people. And yeah, if you want to just like get one writer, see if they want to do maybe like 5-10 hours a week for you. Like imagine they work way faster than you will too. I mean, the people that I hired were way better at doing outreach than I was, because I was trying to do everything like perfect. But it doesn't have to be. They're just trying to like, follow directions and do the best they can. Khan says, does the KGR, the keyword golden ratio, work with AdWords where the search volume is 10 to 100 like this? Yeah, it should. And Nick further says you pay about 15 bucks for 1,000 words, so right on par with what I mentioned. So that's good to know, Nick. Thank you. By the way, this is Nick, who was on the we did an interview together, right? So if you didn't see that, Nick, can you paste in here in the chat the URL of our interview? I think people would be interested in that. Gary says, "What's the best word count on your articles, and how many articles would you write per site?" Okay, I think there's sort of a false like dichotomy or trichotomy that you're operating on. There's no best word count. It needs to be as long as it needs to be. It's a dumb answer, but it's not a great question. No offense, Gary. For keyword golden ratio terms and pages, I will publish about 1,000 words, and then I'll add to it, and I'll make it as long as it needs to be. 14, 15, 18,000 words, however long it needs to be. How many articles would I write per site? Again, if you want a small site, you only want to make a couple $100. Maybe you only do like 15 pages. If you want to make a lot of money, maybe you do like 500 posts, 500 reviews. Maybe you do 1,000. I favor fewer sites that are larger with more content. So I'm in favor of like more articles, but there's no set number, Gary. Al says, "You're glad you understand. It's been 1 year and 2 months in a great niche, making 4,200 on average per month. That's outstanding. You are doing awesome. Good job, Al. And by the way, if you wanted to, I'd be interested to hear about your site. And if you wanted to do an interview, we could talk for sure. So if you want to shoot me an email, we can talk about it." Lorraine says, "What's the highest revenue I've ever seen from an Amazon niche site?" I think in the like 30 to 35K range. And if you add on like the other affiliate programs that were associated with it, I think it's in the 40K per month or so. Okay. Handy Strong says, "What is a situation where you don't use the whole keyword in the URL when it sounds weird?" So if it's like best best legal pad. Hold on, let me think of a good example. If it doesn't make sense, right? So if it's like legal pad, best, law students, and like lawyers. It is that would sound really weird in the URL in the title, so you wouldn't use it then. Mano says, "I conducted an enlightening interview with Income School. They said they don't build any links and they rank well. Is this a pure Amazon affiliate site as well? Is this a way for?" Sure, you could do that, and I'm gonna ping those guys again. By the way, again, if you haven't seen the interview, check it out. Those guys are great, super nice. We're actually like direct competitors, but we're all reasonable people. And we thought, hey, we have a good overlap in our audiences. It'd be great if we chatted. So we did. And I actually want to debate them a bit on the, no backlinks. I understand why they recommend that, but here's the deal. I think if you don't build backlinks, you have a lower ceiling for the highest revenue that you can get. So you can't make as much money. Where if like someone is building links, like perhaps they can make more money because they can, apply the resources on like link building and promotion. So that's my thought. I'd love to debate them. I'll probably ping them again. They're great guys. Check out the interview. Check out their site. It's Income School. Again, we're direct competitors, but they seem like good dudes. So I'm happy to talk about them. Patricio says, "How many products did I sell today? I don't know. No clue. I don't look at metrics too much. Just I'll check in every few days or something, but hopefully a lot. The day's not over yet. Hopefully we're only about um, maybe about half to 2/3 done." Khan says, "How many backlinks am I doing on a weekly basis?" I don't I don't do as many because I kind of do sprints of work, so I don't operate on a weekly basis. and you say to not get punished by Google, you know what you could probably do is if you I guarantee you you can't build that many links where you get punished by Google. All right. It's not that easy to build links. So, all right. And I lost my spot again. What's my usual conversion rate in the Amazon Associates dashboard? Um, it's normally about 12 to like 13% or so. I know this particular month, I've been getting more traffic on a particular site the one that I mention every now and then. So the conversion rate right now is about 10%. The last time I looked a couple days ago was about 10%. Blueview says, any advice on writing about a product that you don't actually own or have hands-on experience with? Yeah, go read the reviews on Amazon from people who own it and have hands-on experience. Lorraine says, what do I use for alt text for Amazon product image links? Whatever I use in the caption, something keyword rich is nice. Smooth Operator says, thanks for the answer. There's a dog. There's still snow in my yard right now, even though it's warm out. There's a dog who just like laid in the pile of snow. It's kind of funny. All right. Thanks for the answer from Smooth Operator. It's hard to explain it like this. I think you figured out that you just need to learn more and listen more, and then maybe come for advice. We're all going to make it. Yeah, yeah. You know what? If you keep trying, then you will make it. Yeah. There's so much to learn most of the time, depending on how much research you do. Most of the time, if you just like learn what you need to know, which is hard to know when you've learned it, but most people just need to like do the work and execute. Most people know like what they need to do and they're looking for a shorter answer. Not people here, right? But take take that for what it's worth. Lorraine says, do more interviews. Yes, I am working on it. I'm actually going to do a couple interviews. Actually, I'm doing 3 interviews next week, and I'm trying to get a few more lined up as well. In the location independent digital nomad area. So that should be pretty interesting. And I'm hoping to do like more collaboration stuff just in general. Handy Strong says, can you be associated with more than one affiliate network? Yes, you can. And cool. And the link is in here. People look for Nick's interview. Look for Nick's interview. You'll enjoy it. Lorraine says, you said you need a lot of posts to make a lot of money. I thought I can do high quality 30 to 40 posts. And what should I expect in terms of income? Um, you can make anywhere from often you're asking good questions often. This is a bad question. Okay. This is a bad question. We get just a couple of days ago. I haven't watched it yet, but it's titled How to Ask Good Questions. Sorry, How to Ask Good Questions. This, Lorraine, I'm sorry, is a bad question. You could make zero money with 30 or 40 posts, right? If you pick bad keywords, if you have poor content, if, there's so many factors involved. Or the site that Rob and I sold for $235,000, we had like 45 posts and it was making like 10, 14. This time last year was making like, I can't even remember. It was like $19,000 in November of 2016, right? Just in 1 month, it made $19,000. The next month in December 2016, it made $32,000, right? Full time income in just 2 months of the year. We didn't have that much content on there. So the problem with your question is like you're asking how much money you can make from 30 or 40 posts. The thing is, I don't know like what the site's like, the quality of the content. I don't know about the keywords. Maybe the keywords are not. Unfortunately, in this sort of format, you actually can't even give me enough information for me to give you an answer. And I know, I mean, I've done a lot of this stuff, and if you're asking me how much you can make from a site, sky is the limit. You can make it reaches you with like my intent. I'm not trying to, be mean or anything like that. Just want you to like think about it through the scope of, I guess, all the variables that are involved, and you're making assumptions about certain things, and maybe you shouldn't make those assumptions. And it should, if you can get away from those assumptions, it may help you be successful sooner. And then that's why. I'm so glad that you're interested in it. Thank you for asking. It'll be in January. So we just had, we being me and my students, we just had an enrollment period in October. It's very high touch. It's a lot of work that I have to do associated with it. I work with the students. So I only do it 4 times a year. January will be the next time. Patricia, um, Jonathan says, do I think brand Black Friday keywords that link over to product review content? All right, am I back? Let's see. All right, I think I could be back. If so, that's fantastic. Thanks for people. Thanks everyone for hanging on. It is. I have no clue why I've had so many issues lately. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the questions here. Okay, get back to the questions. All right. Khan says, I have a niche site with 200 visitors a month. How can I lead them to buy the product? How do you kindly force them to buy the product? Write good copy, and that should help. You should also have the right kind of keywords, like buyer's keywords. That's what you need. And next, again, sorry for the connection issues. I don't know what's going on. Definitely not cool. We did have an internet issue earlier today. I'm not sure what's up with that, but it could be related. Matthew, what is up? Good to have you on here. One of your 1,500 word KGR posts went to the second page of Google today, only a month old. You added another 2,500 words. How long will it take to see an improvement? Who knows, man? It could be tomorrow. It could be in like 6 months. Um, I I've done that, but I don't track things super close because, in my opinion, there's not a huge amount of value to that. It's like I know that it will work over time, and if you here's why you should have you should be patient, right? I don't know, Matthew. You're only asking for some reference point, but like SEO is taking a little bit longer now than it did when I got started, like 4 years ago, which isn't even that long. If you make a change and then you wait 2 months and then you say, you know what, that didn't work. It didn't work and I'm not going to do it again. And then on month 4 or month 6, uh, you shoot up in the rankings, then you've sort of made a poor judgment that it didn't work when it actually just needed more time. So it's really hard to say. Adding more content is a good idea. I can tell you that. Ronan says, put a sidebar on my blog. Uh, Thanks for the tip. I will respectfully decline. I don't like sidebars. I want you to read the content that's on there. Um, and you say, please test it. And actually, you know what? I'm always up for learning more. Rovan, what's your like experience with having a blog and having a sidebar? And do you know that one works better than the other? Okay. This is my question to you, Rovan. Here's the interesting thing with the internet. And I used to be very susceptible to this because, I mean, I still consider myself quite a beginner in blogging and content and stuff like that. So here's what used to happen. I would write a blog post and do some work and publish it, and then one or two people would say, Doug, you really need to add a sidebar. And I'd be like, oh, they must know what they're talking about. And no offense to you. Maybe I'm being too offensive today if I have to keep saying no offense. Rovan, the point is, um, a lot of people give you advice. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm not saying that you don't know what you're talking about, but it turns out most people, they don't know what they're talking about. But they talk like they do, and it's very frustrating. So as a sort of very malleable person, when people told me I should do X or Y, I would do it, and it turned out, well, not only did they not know what they were talking about, they were also just wrong. So I'm very, very, I guess what word, I'm very like, I I don't take advice too often from unknown sources. Rovan, you're great though. No, not not pointing you out specifically, but okay. We have 13 more minutes left. Okay. Adrian says, you want to partner up with someone for projects, give you advice on. Okay. As far as working with people, I worked with Rob. I'd known Rob for over 2 years. We were in a mastermind group together. I, you know, he's a very close friend, and you know, I talked to him twice in the past couple weeks. Talking to him again this week, and then we also have a mastermind meeting. So, like, I knew him. Additionally, I did all sorts of stuff, breaking rules of working with partners. We had no contract. We had no like real sort of we had an agreement, but very easily um I could have like taken intellectual property, used it myself. He could have, done the same. He could have not paid me out. The site was in his name. This everything was in his name, and like we operated because we were friends, and a lot of like relationships would explode upon that sort of stress level. But I think Rob and I are closer. We're looking forward to working, in a different capacity, not on a site together, but just collaborating on some stuff. Okay. But in general, you really want to make sure that you trust the person that you're working with. David says, if you Google search, submit a site, and paste your new post or updated post, you notice Google index it faster. Um, so David, if you go to the Google search console and you fetch your page, you could index it. I have a video on it. So if you just search on how to index your website on my channel, you should be able to find it pretty quick. Lorraine says there are no bad questions. Fair enough. There are better questions though. So maybe there are no bad questions. There are some better questions that you could ask. So again, it's nothing personal, but when you ask certain questions, I know that you haven't thought it out yourself, and that's not great. So, okay. And you know what? I'm sorry. There are bad questions. There are bad questions and there are dumb questions, and I'll go ahead and say it and I'll take a stand. I'm sure that I will offend some people, but it turns out there's some bad questions out there. And if you could figure out how to answer good questions, you'll be better off. Trust me. Okay. We have 9 minutes left here. And by the way, just curious, in the crowd, as a group, do we think that there are some bad questions? I mean, there are some bad questions, right? Okay. Jonathan says, "Do I do any CPA offers?" No, I don't. Florian says, "If it needs time, but if you have written the best content, then you'll see yourself on page one, even without backlinks." That is not true. That's not true. Sorry, Florian. Rovin says, "No offense, felt excellent. Thank you." Yeah, and here's the thing. I used to have a sidebar on my site, and it distracted people. It didn't add anything, right? I didn't have more people read more articles on my site. If I put it some sort of like I guess if I was pushing people towards like, let's say I was launching a 5-figure niche site. If I put it in the sidebar, I didn't get additional traffic. So basically, I took it away because it wasn't helping anything, and now the content is front and center. So thanks, Rovan, for taking it in the intent that I wanted it. And yeah, I end up just like searching on Google. If I'm trying to find something on someone's site, I usually just do an advanced Google search and find it there. Florian says, "You doubt yourself. You don't know how often, but you have 7 or more articles on page one." Cool. Okay. Smooth Operator says, let's say I found this niche not held by authority sites and you found 10 keywords or more um, with a ratio of, okay, you listed out the ratios. Most of the products are 200 to 1500. Would you say that that finding the right niche is 20% of success? I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I think maybe finding the right niches. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, 20% seems fine. Like it's kind of an arbitrary figure. It's all execution. Everything is execution. I could tell you a fantastic niche. I could give you all the keywords. I could show you all the content that you should write. It's all execution. Diedrich says bad questions equal lazy questions when people are too lazy to research themselves. Thank you for saying that. And then Lorraine says, you simply didn't understand what I was asking. That's all. Oh, Lorraine, I apologize. It is difficult with a flurry of questions. I mean, how many questions did I answer here? Shitload of questions, right? Super hard to go through these. So I'm sorry if I misunderstood. Apologies. No, again, no ill will or anything like that. Patricia says, where do we buy you your next beer? Actually, I should figure out how to do that in a way. Actually, there's a place in town that you could buy me gift cards. But maybe in the next one, I'll put it up. Do I recommend only one general product website, or is it better to have 10 specific niches? Probably 10 specific niches. However, I do recommend you probably just work on one site. Just work on one site at a time. Khan says, can I record a video on how to set up backlinks in practice? Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 live trainings. Go to my YouTube channel, which you're already on, and just search for like guest posting, backlinks, that sort of thing. You'll see several videos on that. David, thank you, says, yes, there are bad questions. A lot of people are looking to get rich. And by the way, Lorraine has been on many of these. No one's saying that about you, Lorraine. They just needed to change their motivation and approach, is what David mentioned. So thank you. Blue Fuse, do I generally avoid sidebars on all the niche sites? Sometimes, not always. It depends. Asking questions is an art, much more important than to give answers. And Adrian says that you think that's an Einstein quote. Smooth Operator says, can I stay longer? The answer is no. Like I said, I'm going to go on a walk with my wife. So, all right. We have 4 minutes left, though. So, what other questions do we have? I could probably do like 2 or 3 more questions. Yeah. So the thing is, and going back to Lorraine's question that I misunderstood. So how much can you expect to make with a site if it has 30 to 40 posts on it? The answer is anywhere from 0 to like $50,000 a month. All depends on everything. That's the reason why it's really hard to answer that question. There's no actual answer to that. 0 to $50,000 is not an answer that can help you. Okay. Jonathan says, thank you for reposting the question, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Do I think the quote brand Black Friday keywords that link to the product review content would convert better than straight sales to Amazon? I don't know. I have no clue. Maybe, for like a day, right? Or 3 days, it would maybe be helpful. But I usually like my overall, like I'm not trying to make Black Friday through Cyber Monday, um, like the biggest day ever. It will end up being that way, but people most of the time just search for the normal stuff that they're searching for. They usually don't place the Black Friday stuff in there. As far as a call to action, it'd be interesting to test, but impractical in a lot of ways, at least for me, right? I'm just not interested in it in general. Smooth Operator says, "This is informative. Thank you. When is the next one?" I believe I'm gonna get back into my normal schedule. So on Wednesdays, I do a live stream in which I have a topic and I usually just talk. And if people have questions about the topic, then I will answer it. If it's not related to the topic, then I probably won't answer it. On Fridays, I usually do a live stream Q&A at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I've been traveling, I've been out of town, I've been off the grid, so I didn't do it for a few weeks, but we should be back in action, and I'm gonna, try to keep that Friday Q&A in place. All right, and we have like less than a minute left, so I'm gonna answer questions fast. Mate says, can traffic bought from social media help with ranking on Google? I don't know. Probably not. Patricia says, "Oh yeah, the course, Patricia, opens back up in January." Yep. So okay, I'm out of here. Thanks everyone. Have a great Friday, and we'll see you next week.